I'm in control.
One of the most underrated things that completes a physique and also makes you so much stronger in the gym is a pair of beefy, strong forearms. Training them can be tricky though. That's why we're bringing you our top 5 exercises for training forearms.
100%. I mean, this is all tied in from a joint by joint approach. So the stronger we get our forearms, the more resilient our elbows, the stronger our shoulders, the more weight we can pull, the more weight we can press. Yet this is a very underutilized tool.
There's also a lot of research out there that says if your grip is strong, that correlates to living life longer.
Grip is such a factor, right? Like you might be deadlifting, you might be doing pull-ups, you could be doing basic, just straight arm pull downs. And when your grip starts giving out on you, that's gonna hinder you from being able to really exhaust specific muscles the way that you need to.
These 5 exercises will help you strengthen your forearms, both creating the definition and the size you want, and the strength that's gonna make you stronger at everything else. So let's get right into it. Our number 5 exercise seems super simple. It's so much harder than it looks, and it's all about training the small muscles in our forearm.
Basically a pinch grip hold. What I recommend everyone to do is grab a light set of plates, like 10-pound plates, whatever it might be. Right here I have 25s, and I'm just gonna grip it, and I'm just gonna hold that weight in one place. Now, if I wanna make it a little bit more difficult, I could start walking, right? And that walking, that dynamic motion is gonna enable my grip to have to work a little bit harder.
Exactly, and this is also hitting at the heart of what you're gonna see in all of these forearm exercises, right, which is the critical responsibility of our forearms and of our grip, and the best way to train that is to grip with intent. If Don stops creating that tension and creating that squeeze at his forearm, suddenly those plates are just gonna drop.
They're gonna drop, right.
So many ways to progress it. You could even, if you didn't want to go heavier, if you found fatter 25s, that creates a different grip challenge. There's so many ways to kind of play with this motion. That's why I love it.
As we're fatigued, the first thing to go on me is my grip strength. So I'll notice in things like my pull-up or my holds, where if I'm fatigued and my readiness isn't quite there, I'll notice that grip begins to diminish on me. It's probably one of the best indicators of my readiness for that day.
Exactly, so get the plate pinch in your workouts. That's number 5.
Number 4 on our list of forearm exercises is a towel pull-up. There's no faking this movement. I mean, first off, you have to be able to do a pull-up. Secondly, you gotta be able to grip your body holding onto a towel, which in my opinion has just taken the pull-up to another level. Forearm strength, shoulders, lat strength, core strength, endurance, probably one of the more difficult of the pulling exercises.
You're right, there's no way to hide. Even just hanging there, I think hanging there is a really good way to start, because you're gonna even feel yourself slipping down the towels there. And then once we start to do the pull-up, what happens from a forearm standpoint is we've got all that little micro correction that has to occur as we're pulling up. And there's so much core stability there too.
Yeah, and also shoulder resiliency, right? As those forearms, from a joint by joint approach, as those forearms get stronger, those elbow joints are gonna get stronger, and the functionality of the shoulder is gonna become more resilient.
You put it really well when we were going over the plate pinch. A lot of forearm exercises, when we learn to grip with intent, start to affect our shoulders in good ways when we're doing that.
There's no faking this. You have to be able to move well. You have to be very strong to be able to perform this exercise.
Just like on the plate pinch, we can play with the thickness of the towels. Add to that, it's gonna be a lot harder to grip. The more narrow and skinny towel though, the easier it's gonna be to hold, but it's still a ton of work. So there's a lot of ways that you can progress this to really grow your forearms and in the process, beef up your back too. Number 3 on our list, the fat grip deadlift, but really all you need for it is a pair of towels. And we've been talking about gripping with intent throughout because that's so key to forearms. And this lift is all about gripping with intent.
It's almost ironic with the deadlift, right? Because a lot of times we're going to using straps or Versa grips or something to help us grip the bar a little bit easier. Now we're going in the complete opposite direction. So remember, the thicker you build this grip up, the less you're gonna be able to deadlift. And I've seen people with 500-600 pound deadlifts build up their grips and they're not pulling more than 225 pounds. So it is gonna be humbling. But what I just did was I took like a very simple, hand towel and I wrapped it, and then I'll basically fold this over to build up somewhat of a thick grip. Now for me, yeah, that's fine. Now if I wanna get more ambitious, I can fold that over one more time and we can build that grip up now even thicker. So that's where I'm gonna go with today, because I like making things a little bit more difficult for myself. But we're gonna build that grip up a bit. And now you could take a very light load and you can make it very challenging. Now, this is really teaching me to crush the bar. And you'll see it a lot of times when people are taking these false grips. They're not utilizing their thumb around the bar. I've got to really squeeze and grip this bar to the best of my ability, which is gonna make a very lightweight much more difficult, but in turn, it's gonna strengthen my forearms. And then when I go back to a heavy weight, hopefully I'll be able to hold that weight a little bit more comfortably.
Forearm training is all about finding different ways to force our grip to work. And with this, what we get is that thickness. And because of that thickness, you have to squeeze that much harder. Translates to everything.
Everything. And this also becomes a fun tool for me on days where I'm just taxed. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm turning around, I'm beat up from travel, I'm beat up from work, coming in and even thinking about hitting a max deadlift or a really grueling 3-rep max or a 5-rep max is just not in the cards for me that day. This enables me to go a little bit lighter on my system, but work on a different quality that I may not normally work on with my training.
And then you take this, if we remove those towels, that deadlift becomes so much easier because the grip is so much stronger, which is the heart of every single one of these forearm moves. So that's number 3. Add the fat grip to your deadlift and really to any other lift. You can add it to a biceps curl, just about anything. You'll still get that impact. Second on our list is another exercise where you just can't really hide. Now we're gonna take a kettlebell, and you have to do this with a kettlebell, and we're gonna go to something called a bottoms up position. We're gonna use this in 2 ways. You can either do this just holding, or you can do it in a standard farmer's carry. But either way, what Don's done here, and the trick with this, and the way it's working his forearms, the way his grip is really challenged, is this kettlebell, because of the upside down position, he has to make sure to keep his forearm completely perpendicular to the ground. That's gonna be a lot of brachioradialis work. It's gonna be a lot of general forearm work, and he's got to grip nice and tight because just like all our other forearm exercises, he cannot hide. If he loosens that grip, he's just not gonna be able to hold it.
Even from a balance and stability standpoint, I can take this movement stationary and then it becomes a moving plank. If I start walking with this kettlebell, which is in a bottom up position, my core begins to work a little bit more. I start feeling my glutes, my legs are firing a little bit because I'm working those anti-rotators. So my body wants to drop to one side, so it has to engage and pull back using the other side. That's why I love these asymmetrical movements. But if you just get into this position here, and if you grab a light kettlebell to start and say take 25 steps, with each leg, with each arm, in each direction, you're just gonna feel this exercise. It's gonna go such a long way with shoulder stability, functionality with the shoulder, forearm resiliency. You're gonna feel great from it.
Exactly. I think what you're seeing as we progress through these forearm exercises is we're handling them very differently than we handle some of the other exercises. We're not trying to do a lot of isolation movements to target specific muscles. Instead, it's all about time under tension. This is really an isometric hold for Don, where he's got to maintain this position and he's got to kind of hold it and
crushing the grip.
Exactly, and he can't. There's no moment during this bottoms up where he can relax. Just like there was no moment to relax on a towel pull up, no moment to relax when we were on the fat grip deadlifts. These are the heart of your forearm motions. This is number 2. Wait till you see what comes next.
And the one forearm exercise Eb and I feel that no one should be skipping is the farmer carry. Now, this is probably, in my opinion, the most underutilized exercise in fitness, let alone being one of the best forearm exercises.
Yeah.
Elbow resiliency, shoulder strength, core, total body. This is a moving plank. So if Eb picks this weight up right now, Eb can turn around and use kettlebells or even dumbbells, and the kettlebells have a little bit of a fatter grip on it, which I like, and it's just basically a walk. So he's gonna take one step after the other, or if you don't have space, Eb, we can just go into basic marching, right? And you could do this for time, you could do this for distance, but in my opinion, this is probably the king of forearm exercises. This is that one drill that you just have so much bang for your buck on. Heart rate, fat burning. You know as well as I do, when you're carrying heavy weight across a gym floor for distance or for time, your heart rate goes through the roof like you're doing intervals.
It's called the farmer's carry. When we look at farmers, right? All those guys, because they're lifting heavy all the time and they're walking around with these heavy loads, they wind up with the same jack forearms that you're trying to chase at home. So it's a really, really natural way to train so much stuff. And like you said, it's so much more than forearms. Forearms are a byproduct, but there's so much resiliency you get with the move too.
I've seen even physical therapists post, rehab as they're, bringing someone back into training on the floor. This is a phenomenal drill as long as it's directed by your PT to be able to start with. That's going to help, reestablish that loss of strength in your upper body. It's a phenomenal drill, but it's also very safe, which I love.
The reason it's tops on our list of forearm moves, I think whenever you look at any list we create for hypertrophy, the ultimate always winds up being something where we can load it up. Yeah. And you can load up this farmer's carry, whatever the heaviest dumbbells are. I mean, Strong men wind up grabbing giant yokes and carrying those around.
Trap bars. You can use a trap bar carry. Like we'll stand in trap bars and we'll pick that up 600-700 pounds and walk through the floor. It's a very easy movement to load heavy, but be safe.
Exactly. Be safe, but grip the heck out of it. You're not going to have a choice. Can't hide from these forearm exercises. That was number one. Hit this whole list, your forearms will be jacked.